Today, I wanted to talk about why I play League of Legends. To start, my name is Noah, and I'm 37 years old, and I play League of Legends. I started back in like 2014, I think season 4, played a little bit of Lucian and placed in gold, and then I quit the game. And I only played for like maybe a season. Um, yeah, I guess there's a little bit of backstory behind that that I like to actually, cover because it does influence why I wanted to come back to the game, and also why I even came across League of Legends to begin with. But when I was a teenager, I, used to ditch school and play StarCraft. Like I was, I was a StarCraft addict, and I think I was not bad. Also, I was actually pretty good, and locally, I'd be known as the StarCraft person. And my dream back then as a kid was to be a StarCraft pro gamer. And it wasn't, it didn't really feel like I could do it. So I just gave up and, moved on with my life, right? I'm sure many of you can relate with stories like that. But I was still pretty good at StarCraft and I loved playing it. Um, and then I got into Warcraft 3, where I was introduced to Dota through custom games. And then fell in love with Dota so much as a genre of game, the MOBA genre game, that I felt resembled a lot of basketball, and I'm a huge basketball fan. So I started playing Dota. I got pretty good at Dota too. I started to join like teams and play against other teams. There wasn't such thing as solo queue or ranked or anything like that in Dota. It was just like you find people that you can regularly play with, and then you just go and play, right? And we got pretty good. I actually, would drive out to meet these players in real life, and then we'd just get to know each other better. And it was just so much fun back then. It's different now. We have like Twitch and streaming and all this stuff, like YouTube. But I'm sort of sidetracking here, but I think what I'm really wanting to say is that I used to be pretty good at StarCraft. I wanted to be pretty good at Dota. And when I found out about Heroes of New Earth as a standalone Dota MOBA style gaming, I moved on to Heroes of New Earth, Han, right? And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. Because now you can get introduced to like guilds and then MMRs. And there was a scoring, sort of like a ladder ranking system in Han that I really appreciated. But I didn't really know League of Legends back then. I know that they kind of came out at the same time. I just started to play Heroes of New Earth instead. And eventually, Heroes of New Earth, they flopped. They stopped developing the game. Although it was a really terrific game, Dota 2 was at the cusp of release, right? And League of Legends started to dominate the playing field. And then when Han sort of faded out, I picked up League and I immediately loved it. It was such a interesting take on a MOBA game. For example, Flash was a 5-minute resource. You could only flash, like everyone could flash, and you don't need to buy an item to flash, but you can only use it one time in 5 minutes. In Dota, it wasn't so much like the Blink Dagger, you can just buy it and abuse Flash like crazy, right? So that, to me, was very different. And League, I started to realize that League is way more unforgiving because of these limited resources. And I really appreciated that because it meant that you had to be more precise, more intentional with what is available to you. And so that's how I feel about League in general. But when I quit, there was this. Well, okay, so then I played StarCraft, or I played Dota, and then I played HANA, and I finally played League. And League was sort of like the game that stuck with me. When I think about any of the games that I used to play, that I used to feel pretty good at, like if I were to look at StarCraft or any other game, I think League is still the game that I would want to play with. I mean, it's still alive, it's still strong, right? And there was always this sense of unfinished business because I feel like I never reached my potential in League or any other game. Like I always gave up. I always gave up in my games, you know? Like whenever I would get pretty good at something, and then I would see a challenge or someone better than me to, sort of put me in my place or my ego check, right? Ego check me, and it's like, well, okay, I guess that's kind of where where I end, right? And I don't know, that doesn't sit well with me. I'm a fighter, you know? I'm competitive. But life happened, and as I was getting older, my little brother, who, by the way, he is 14 years younger than me, and ultimately the reason why I came back to League of Legends is because of my little brother, and we'll get to that. But my little brother, growing up, I always wanted to play with him games. Like I wanted to share with him Dota and StarCraft and all these games. And League, I tried to get him into League too. But he was just a lot younger, you know. He was more into console games. He was a lot younger. He was on the Nintendo DS, and he was just a lot younger than me. He didn't really have a computer to play with either, and a lot of these games required computer. Well, yeah, it definitely required computers. Um, but eventually I built him one. I built a computer, and he started playing like Counter Strike and all these other games. Got really good at that. And I guess his friends wanted to play League with him, and he asks, "Hey, bro, uh, can I borrow your account?" Because he knew I already played for a while. So I said, sure, sure, and I gave it to him. And my little brother kept using my account to play League. He kept my name. He kept my name, and he just kept playing it and playing it and playing it. And I remember by the time he started to play regularly, I remember he would make montages or clips on his local machine, and then he would show me them whenever I would come over, and he'd be like, "Bro, check this out. Look what I did," and then he'd show me like really cool clips. I thought that was really cool, you know. So I always cheered him on, and eventually, like, I didn't know this, but at the beginning of this year, or like sometime earlier this year, he goes, we're on the phone, and he goes, "Hey, bro, I think I'm better than you at League now." Um, and then something just clicked, man. Something just clicked. I I thought about my childhood, my StarCraft days, like how I was pretty good, but I quit. I thought about Dota, how I quit, and then League, how I quit. And I was tired of quitting. And I always felt like if I put more effort, then maybe I can reach my potential for once. I think that kind of clicked. And then the other thing that clicked was, well, this little prick, this little jerk, telling me that he's better than me at League now after 10 years or so, right? Like I felt you know, a sense of duty as an older brother to kick his ass. And then I'd find out that he took my account, my original account, all the way to like diamond, he tells me. And in my mind, I had never reached diamond before, so I thought like, wow, that's pretty awesome. You know, could I do that? Like, if my brother did it, could I do it? I mean, he's pretty good at games in general. So I don't know. I thought about that, and I was like, yeah, I think I could do it. I think I could do it. I mean, I always talked a big game to my little brother about how good I was at these games, but we never were playing the same game, right? And I feel like this is an opportunity where I can give him a taste of what it was like to lose to me back in the days when I was pretty good. So, yeah, I'm here to kick my little brother's ass. To tell you the truth, that's really what motivates me to play. But then when I think about the history with gaming and in StarCraft and all these other games, there is also a deep like sense of unfinished business that I have for myself. You know, I want to reach my potential. I think that's a big driving factor for me of why I also play. When I came back to League, the game drastically changed from what I remember. I watched pro play, but watching pro play and actually playing the game is so drastically different. First, there are so many new champions that don't get played in competitive esports. So there are many champions that I didn't even know about, like Akshan, for example, is just one of them. Pike was another. Nafiri. I mean, there's tons of them, you know, there's tons of them. And when I came back, I got placed, I started a new level 30 account, started from scratch, and got into my placements, and I got placed into Iron 1. And this was back in July of this year. So I've been playing for maybe half a year, and currently I sit on Silver 2. And I main Caitlyn and Ashe. And that journey, the past 6 months, that journey has been very challenging. It's been challenging. I mean, you can look at my videos now. I have all my gameplays, actual transparent gameplays there, as I'm currently trying to improve the game or improve in the game. It's been emotional. It's been rewarding. It's been challenging. It's been difficult. It's been. Did I say emotional? It's been a lot of fun. And because I have this ambition to show my little brother what I'm capable of and show myself ultimately what I'm capable of, I decided my approach this time in playing League will be different. My approach will be, I'm going to get help. You know, that was my thinking. I need some coaching here. There's too much, it will take too much time otherwise. I need some coaching. So I thought about coaching. I thought about like content out there on YouTube, like consuming content, and which is all great, but what's hard is that like when you're actually playing the game, you know the things that the things that you saw on the YouTube, but it's very hard to know whether you're doing it properly or not. Or it's just like it feels very weird to do it yourself, like execute it yourself, without somebody telling you, like, or poking at you, saying, "Hey, you did that, incorrectly," or "You did that, correctly," or whatever. It's very difficult just consuming content. So I figured coaching is a great way to get some help. That's personal to me and customized to me. Yeah, and I wanted to gauge myself also where I was right now. Like if my brother is a current like Emerald Diamond player, right now he's, I think he is a current Emerald Diamond player. He hardly plays the game, but I played him one-on-one. I picked my champion Lucian, and it turns out he picked my champion Lucian. He picked the skin that I got on him back in season 4, and then he completely destroyed me, wiped the floor with me like a mop, like a mop. I was like, oh damn, this is actually real. Like, it's gonna take a lot of work for me to, face my little brother and be able to beat him again. It's gonna actually take some work, and I figured, okay, coaching, and then I also, at my age, I feel like I've learned some discipline too. So my approach into the game has been way more disciplined than when I was a kid. I think when I was a kid, I had so much energy. I could play like back-to-back games all day long, all night long, and still be amazing, like feel great, whatever, and play well even when I'm tired, or play horribly even when I'm tired, like, and not know the difference, like I was just playing. But now at my age, being 37, like it's way different, It's way different. There's more trauma. There's more. I don't know. There's pain. There's actually pain in my hands, and attention span has gone down. So there's all these factors that I have to accept as part of my reality. And so my approach has been way more disciplined and strategical in how I'm going to improve. And that is why this channel even started to exist, is because I wanted to make videos for coaching, to receive coaching from others. And I would make videos of my full VOD gameplays, and then to try to get some sort of help. And that was making videos just became so fun to me as well. So I started to make content, and one thing I've been kind of cooking and thinking about is my current learning journey in League. And I've had some revelations recently about myself and about the game that I feel like I'm having some sort of breakthrough. I feel like this is where I can really start to climb and really start to improve, like make really, really good progress. Obviously, maybe and there's the chance that I won't either, This is all sort of feelings and intuition, I guess. But I can't help but to feel that way, right? Because I do see progress in myself, and I do see myself steadily climbing. I think what's been challenging is my perspective on what I think makes a good League player. Like, what makes a good player, right? Is it their mechanical skills? Is it their decision? Is it like, what actually makes a good League player? So I wanted to get rid of any thoughts I had or preconceived notions about what made good players. Because, for example, in StarCraft, what made me really good was my high actions per minute. I was, averaging over 350 actions per minute back in the days. And I'd be all over the map, building and deploying armies and stuff. And in League, you don't need 350 actions per minute. So, like, that viewpoint of, oh, I must be really fast. I must be like a mechanical god. I feel like it's not really, like, it is important, don't get me wrong, but I feel like that's not really the only factor anymore. Now you have to be more creative. You have to be thoughtful and intentional. And it's almost like you have to envision what is going to happen, And that you don't really know until you know. So I am sort of rambling here at this point, but I did want to finish with this, is that when somebody gets so good in their craft after many, many years of practice, like you have players at the grandmaster level, at the challenger level, and a lot of them, majority of them, will have been playing the game for over, many, many years. And at that point, when they make content for beginners like myself to improve, it feels so disconnected. It doesn't feel like they understand what it feels like to be a new player anymore. It's almost like the majority of these great players who've been playing for a long time, they actually forget what it's like to be a new player. And new players won't make content about how they're progressing. And who knows, maybe I'll get to diamond, maybe I won't, maybe I will peak at gold again like I did season 4 and stop there again, I don't know. But I think it would be really neat to have content between my brother and I for that one-on-one when I finally kick his ass. And then there's the other side where I get to share my journey and how I was able to get out of iron and get a bronze, and actually be a true iron and bronze in those moments while I'm overcoming those challenges. And then be relatable, be more relatable to the vast majority of people who are in iron, who are in bronze, struggling and not, I don't know. That's at least how I felt as an iron bronze player trying to get to diamond or whatever. I just feel like it's been hard. It's been hard to just consume content and be told. Like it's almost like I need to gain some sort of identity for myself about how I approach or how I even perceive and understand the game, that I feel like is not really talked about much, or even processing the emotions that we feel, like very raw emotions that we feel. And then having the discipline to not give up. I mean, there are many, many aspects that I feel like creating content around league improvement from somebody who is true low elo. It would be nice to have, if I make it all the way to like say challenger or something, that would be really cool if something like that happened in real time. But I don't know if I'll make it, man. I'm old. Here we go.